Well done, Toyota. This is exactly what I've been missing in car design. Just have some fun with the car design. Beautiful big chamfers coming back in this design as well. And of course, like the Ferrari SF40 I mentioned in the previous video we talked about, the thing about this, it takes inspiration from one of the most iconic Toyotas in the last... When did it come out? I'm not sure. The FJ Cruiser I'm talking about, obviously. So it takes some inspiration from that, brings it into a new design language. It also has a connection to the current Land Cruiser, the front end of this. We got two different front ends from this Land Cruiser FJ, and both of them looks very, very cool. I am in love with this design. However, Toyota, what the heck were you thinking not bringing this to the States? It makes absolutely zero sense to me why this is not coming to the States, because here you have one of the biggest fan bases for the FJ Cruiser. This would sell like crazy here, and you're missing out on so much revenue. I'm not sure if it has to do with something compliance or regulations or anything like that. They're not even bringing it to Europe, which is very, very strange. Maybe in the future, I don't know, when they see what they're missing out on, they're gonna bring this over here. But I love this design. It is a fun design. We can see that the designers actually had fun designing this vehicle, and it looks like a small little rugged SUV. The wheels maybe look a little too small, side view compared to the rest of the body. I would want to, increase the wheel size by 2 inches or something like that. But other than that, the interior looks great as well. Very, very boxy, like you want to have in a design like this. So we're going to have a look at this in Photoshop, of course, from a front view. Both the different front fascias, which one I prefer. These side view, look at the chamfers here. I mean, just beautiful. Going into the front end right there, beautiful. And the rear end as well, full spare tire right there. And of course, this being a Japanese market car, we have the steering wheel on the right side. See if we can remove this cat hair in my laser mouse. So before we do that, let's jump in and have a look at the Car Scoops article, because there is some cool features here. So we have a new SUV revives the Land Cruiser spirit of adventure. Gonna link this down below as always. The SUV features four-wheel drive, 2.7-liter 4 inline 4 with 161 horsepower. Great. That's great. It's not an EV. They don't have any plans of making this an EV. It's the power numbers for this type of size of vehicle, 161 horsepower, it's fine. It's going to bring down the price so much. Having a basic drivetrain like this with this cool styling. These are the cars we need to see more of for, your everyday people who wants to buy a cool car. It doesn't need to have 560 horsepower. So look at this design here. This blue one looking very cool. The wheel, it looks so nice with the wheel. The wheels are a little bit too small. It sits very high up, like a box on wheels with nice chamfers on it. So two different front fascias that echo those found on Land Cruiser. One has a retro-inspired design with circular headlights, while the other sports rectangular units, C-shaped daytime running lights. I like them both. I'm gonna let you know which one I prefer in a minute. Both are joined by a minimalist grille featuring Toyota, the heritage badge. I love to see it. We have it at the 4Runner, we have Tacoma, Tundra. The Tundra, I do think, has that as well on the TRD. You got style, let's see here, plastic front bumper with slightly different designs for both of these. I feel one is more maybe road going oriented, while the other one is a little bit more rugged and off-road oriented. Both look great, as I said. The Land Cruiser FJ has heavily stylized bodywork and angular fender flares. Love to see it. We can also see a massive rear pillar, which likely won't do any favors to rear visibility. Do I care about that? No, because it looks great. Sometimes you have to sacrifice, specifically in car design, you have to sacrifice functionality for styling. That is what car design is all about. So I'm glad to see that we have a fat C-pillar here. A tailgate mounted spare tire largely blocks the rear window as well. I don't care about that. It suits this vehicle. It's accompanied by a C-shaped taillights and rugged bumper. Toyota said the model will come with removable front and rear corner bumpers. This will enable owners to easily swap them out. So if you're on the trails, you hit this big boulder and you think, dang, this is going to cost thousands of dollars. No, Toyota has it covered. You just have to remove that and replace it. Probably a couple of $100 to get that replaced. Great to see it unpainted as well all around here, looking very, very nice. Toyota promised an assortment of options, including robust exterior items, whatever that means. The company didn't go into many specifics. The model is 4.5 inches longer, than the Corolla Cross, but has a 2.3-inch shorter wheelbase. Very interesting proportions. The wheels sit tucked inside of this box, tucked very far in, and also having a shorter wheelbase, of course, going to help with the maneuverability on trails. You get a very tight turn radius for this. The interior looks great as well. Toyota has done a fantastic job with this design. It's just very, very sad that it does not come to the States. So drivers sit behind a chunky steering wheel and find themselves looking at a digital instrument cluster. It's joined by a widescreen infotainment screen right there. You can see it right here. The integration looks nice. Talk more about that in a minute. As well as dedicated climate control. So we have buttons, actual manufactured different pieces for the climate settings. Great job, Toyota. The plastic, fantastic cabin. I really don't care about that because it's going to bring the price down as well. I don't want this to be a $50,000 vehicle. I want this to sit 30, 35, something like that. And I think we could get the price down there if we have a little bit more plastic in the interior. It doesn't matter. It's supposed to be a rugged vehicle anyway. So the power comes from a 2.7-liter four-cylinder that produces 161 horsepower, 181 pound-feet of torque, connected to a 6-speed automatic and part-time four-wheel drive system. Again, great, no CVT in this. Don't want to have a CVT in a car like this. Toyota says that the model will have outstanding off-road performance worthy of a Land Cruiser. As part of this effort, they focused on the approach angle, ground clearance, and wheel articulation. Great job here. The Land Cruiser FJ won't be coming to the United States. I have a feeling they might change their stance on that. Because, as I said, here it would be a massive hit, this thing. I can tell you that already just by looking at it and just the fan base we have for the old FJ Cruiser. Learn design sketching online with me. My online class is now only $47. If you have any desire to pick up the skill of sketching products using simple tools such as just a big pen and some cheap print paper, this is something you want to check out. Now, over the years, I've taught with thousands of students from all around the world how to sketch cars and products using my simple sketching techniques, and most of them have seen amazing results from my classes. Analog Designer Pro Pack is the full bundle of all my classes I've released over the years, and it's yours for just $47. You also have a lifetime access to all the videos. Check out everything that's included and see what my students have to say in the link in the description, or simply visit analogdesignerpropack.com. So with that said, let's jump in Photoshop here and have a look at this design. What is this design all about? What did Toyota do with this beauty right here? So looking up top, we do have the front view. We do have two different front views. And I'm going to let you know right now which one I prefer. I 100% prefer this one right here. I think this is such a cool design with the rounded headlights in the front end. And it also has this snorkel on the side, or air intake. If you've listened to the 4Runner, the new 4Runner, how loud that is when you're stepping on the gas, feels like the car is inhaling very strongly, like the atmosphere around you when you're stepping on the gas. Not sure if this is going to be just as loud as that one, but look at this design. We have this intake here. We have a roof rack up top, boxy design all around. Beautiful, gorgeous chamfers in the front end here. Look at how these chamfers house the key graphics in the front end. Solid bumper as well. It looks to be maybe, I don't know, it's probably plastic skid plates down here. But I don't really care. It looks good. Fog lights here as well. Heritage badge in the middle. And none of these features down here, these panels, these parts are painted. So everything is very, very cheaply made. And that is actually what you want in a car like this. You don't want to have this be, gloss, metallic color, because you're going to scratch it when you take it off-road anyway. Beautiful, beautiful front end design for the Land Cruiser. Here we can see both the different designs. I definitely prefer the round headlights, even though this looks cool. This does not remind me too much of the FJ Cruiser, and that is the reason why I prefer the round ones. And the round ones also look more retro, and I love it when car companies bring back old designs in a new language, just like Toyota has done here. They said we have some different bumper designs here as well between these two. I can't really see that. I do think they both have the same bumpers here. I can't really see any differences between the two. Maybe you can switch them out. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. But both of it look very, very cool. My favorite view for this, though, is going to be this. Look at this side view. There's so much to sketch out here that I love about this. First of all, it's a 100% two-box design from a side view in the proportions. One clear box here, and then one second clear box in the overall design right here. Beautifully done. And then we have a very strong angle for the windshield, a straight roof line dipping down just a little bit in the rear to give it a nice end point like that. Vertical rear end, and look at all the chamfers. There are so many beautiful chamfers that I can sketch out here. Around the greenhouse, we have one chamfer right here that goes into the shoulder line that then cuts into the front fender right there. Beautiful. And then we have this chamfer in the lower section, carving out some of the volumes in the lower areas to create a bit more nimble design for this. And we have this nice small little radius here as well. And the greenhouse, I do like that it goes up a little bit in this area, giving it some forward motion, even though it is a very, very boxy design. The wheel design here, though, we have a pretty decent approach angle, to be honest, because this angle is pretty solid, even though the wheels sit relatively far back inside of the body, having a small, very short wheelbase, which is, of course, going to help you on the trails. That is what you want with a car like this. And, of course, the unpainted plastic features right here. The wheel and tire setup, these are what I would definitely switch out to some more off-road looking tires. Maybe bronze color, maybe silver even. I would now want to have them be black, and I want to have the tires be all-terrain tires instead of these road-going tires that we have going on here. But just take a minute to appreciate this design. It's a great-looking car, even though it does have some product design in it, being pretty, angular lines, but that is what suits this vehicle. If you look at the old FG Cruiser, it was also that type of feel for that design. So they did a great job modernizing that in a much, much smaller package. Now, looking at the rear end, check this out. We have a big glass right here. It's actually, this entire piece is not actually all glass, but it looks like it because this black graphic goes down here. You have the door handle in this area, full spare size with a Land Cruiser lettering here. Looks to be the rear-mounted camera. Probably right here, I would assume. This is just the antenna up top. And, of course, more chamfers in the back coming back here. Are these actually... No, they're not exhaust pipes. It would be so cool if we had dual exhaust pipes visible back here. That would be pretty sick, but I do think these are actually recovery hooks or something like that. But I do like that we have the reverse light down here in the bumper. And look at the design of the bumper. We have these steps on top of it with a different silver pattern to it, and also this diffuser in the lower section, looking very, very cool and very rugged, exactly like I want to see for this type of vehicle. The taillight unit looks pretty sweet as well. The C-shape design that we have right here, looking very nice. I like how it follows this line and just cuts off right there, similar to what we have on truck designs. Now, last but not least, this interior, also great design for the interior, because look at this. We have this is, when I say that I don't want to have the infotainment screen stick up above the dash, I mean, Toyota did that on the millimeter precision right here. Look at how the infotainment screen sits right in line with the top of the dash. It's also extended in a wide format like this, widescreen. And we also have, it looks to be a lot of buttons down here, looking beautiful for the heated seats, the temperature, the fan speed, and all of that. The typical sturdy gear selector for any Toyota product these days. And we have a nice, a big mansion for the gauge cluster. It sits very, very deep inside of the dash right there. Steering wheel looks great as well. A lot of probably rubberized, maybe just plastic buttons for that, but it's totally fine. And again, the heritage badge coming back instead of a Toyota logo in the middle spells out Toyota. Even though there is a lot of plastic in this, that's what this is going to get muddy. It's going to get dirty. You want it to be cheap materials in the interior. You just want to be able to hose this off and clean it up very quickly. And that is what you're going to be able to do with the Toyota Land Cruiser. So overall, very, very, very cool vehicle from Toyota. But again, I probably will never get to see this unless I'm traveling to Japan anytime soon to check this out, because it's not coming to the States. That decision just makes absolutely zero sense to me. They, of course, have their reasons for it. I feel like it might have to do with some regulations, or maybe it's not, up to the level to be sold here in the United States with safety ratings and stuff like that. I have no idea, but it's probably something in those lines that makes them not being able to sell this here. But they should have thought of that when they developed this vehicle, because the US was such a huge market for the FJ Cruiser. But other than that, hopefully I get to see this in person some point. And well done, Toyota, for bringing back some nostalgia in this new Land Cruiser FJ.